Hello everyone, my name is Bev Brown. The name of our session is Remote, Hybrid, or On-Site Learning. IHT offers solutions for you. I've taught for 31 years in the state of Iowa. At the secondary level for 27 of those years, the last 4 years was at the university level. My last 4 years at the university level, I used IHT, and then I started working with IHT as a customer success manager. So we're really excited to show you our product and demonstrate what our software and monitor can do for you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wolff. I am a customer success manager for IHT as well. Before becoming a customer success manager for IHT, I have taught in Wichita, Kansas for the last 18 years. Just a little bit about me. Most of my years of teaching have been in the middle school. So I did some little bit in elementary, but most of it at the middle school level. I was using the heart rate monitors every day with my students since 2014. And I'm excited to be in this presentation to kind of help share what IHT can do for you in these different modes of learning. I also was a Teacher of the Year in 2014 for the state of Kansas, and then also the Central District Teacher of the Year for Shape America in 2015. So like I said, I'm excited to help share some knowledge that we have with the IHT monitors and with our curriculum. And now I will give it over to Lois.
Hi everyone, I'm a native of Fargo, North Dakota, and I'm on my 6th year working with IHT as the Director of Education and a Customer Success Manager. I serve our West, Southwest, and Southeast states along with Bermuda. And I earned my master's degree at Virginia Tech under the direction of Dr. George Graham. I'm also a certified online instructor and a published author. I was named both middle school and elementary teachers of the year for Central District. We'd like to start out by showing you what IHT actually does. We have wearable technology for your students to use. We have assessment software that is able to be used as a hybrid, remote, or on-site. We have curriculum resources that we're going to share with you today that are very, very powerful. And of course, we offer professional development. We want to empower our students to take control of their health and take ownership. The IHT heart rate monitor, which we refer to as the zone, allows students direct formative feedback right on their wrist. The students are able to look at their progress during class or when they're working out, and the results are emailed to the parents and to the students by teacher choice. And students have really taken hold of their own decision making into living a healthy lifestyle and having grow up as successful citizens. So the technology that we have at IHT is really effective for our students in that aspect. We're going to talk a little bit about the curriculum. IHT resources, as we said in our title, can be used in any structure. What used to be called online or remote, hybrid, or face-to-face. Our resources are available for everyone. On our dashboard, we have online resources, training videos, SEL resources. We've got elementary, secondary, and student resources, along with PYFP Fitness Library, which houses a whole bunch of videos on fitness testing. We have IHT lessons done that are teacher driven, and we have grade level rubrics from grades K all the way to post-secondary. Our online resources include some high school curriculum that is able to be used remotely with your students. Using the IHT app, which I'll share with you in just a few minutes, you are able to put our high school curriculum lessons into a Google Drive or Google Classroom, and our PDFs are all writable, and so your students can actually fill in the writable lessons and return them back to the teachers. The student responsibility letter is offered to you that you can send out with your students, and parents can sign off on the equipment, which is going to be a heart rate monitor, a zone heart rate monitor, and also a personal charger. The students have been very, very successful with this method. We're kind of being able, because of a pandemic, to put the education back into physical education. So we're actually having the opportunity to give our kids time to work on some of these task sheets and be able to learn from each and every one of them. Our students are able to choose when to do the activity, where to do the activity, how much time they want to spend on the activity, and the intensity. Of course, we're going to always encourage them to hit their moderate to vigorous heart rate zone. And teachers are allowed to set goals for the week for the students using the app. They can set a goal of 150 minutes per week. When the students finish their workout, they'll get a report that might say, you've completed 30 minutes of time today. You have X amount of time left to finish this week. So the students are constantly reminded of what they need to get accomplished and completed in order to meet the goals of the teacher. So with our students now being overwhelmed with AP classes and foreign language classes, this is a perfect opportunity for them to be able to take care of their physical education credit through remote learning. This is a testimonial from Alana, who is a senior in Huntington Beach, California.
Hello, my name is Alana, and I've been one of Miss Merrill's students for about 3.5 years. I've gotten to see the transition of before we had our watches to now that we do have our zone watches. Personally, I found these watches a really good motivator. For example, working out, you feel like you're really doing a good job. You're able to then look down and see, oh wow, I actually am working hard. My heart rate is up. These watches have also led to the individualization of this class, which is definitely also a plus. Each student gets their own watch, they sync it to their own phone, they plug in all their own information. So it is specifically an account and a watch for you and your own personal journey. Another great thing, you have the ability to actually go back and look at your previous workouts, see all the stats, see how much time you spent in each heart rate zone, how much time you spent on the overall workout, and in this way you can actually see whether or not you've achieved your fitness goals and see how far you've come on your fitness journey, which is a great plus, and it is actually kind of fun to look back to see how far you've come.
As you can see from the video, Alana did take ownership in her workouts and was able to improve her fitness scores in everything that she did. I want to share with you just a few minutes about the heart rate chart. We're going to review this again a little bit later, but I want you to understand that there are 3 separate zones, and they are the blue, yellow, and red zones. The blue zone is a low intensity zone. The yellow zone is a moderate zone, and then red is vigorous. So CDC and Shape America would like our students to be in moderate to vigorous physical activity during our classes, at least at a minimum of 50% of the time. The bottom of the chart, we've added emotions to it. Many times our students will come to us and say, I'm standing here, but I'm in yellow. What you might ask them is, are you nervous? Are you excited? Are you worried about something? We all know that emotions play a part in heart rate, along with medication and several other things. So the new heart rate chart, we have added emotions to it, along with the fact that we can use these in physical education classes. They're also a way to help students control social emotional needs and deal with mental health issues. So again, this is a powerful skill that can give students ownership of their health by controlling their heart rate depending on what they're doing in your classes. Now I'm going to discuss the app for just a little bit. These are 3 screenshots of what the app looks like. The students log in with their email that is in the system that the teacher has. Once they receive a magic link, they simply click it, and then they will get a screen that says, let's get started. At that point, the heart rate monitor will turn on. The heart rate monitor houses its own data within itself. So when the students are using a phone, a Chromebook, an iPad to start the app or use the app, they do not need to take it with them while they're working out. When they come back, they will simply hit end on the app and everything is saved and sent to them and to their instructor. The results of using the app will give them a look of what the teacher had set for a goal on the left side there. And then on the right side, the graph is what the student actually did. And at that point, when they hit finish, they're able to choose an emoji of how they felt, different smiley faces there. And then they're also able to comment. All that information is sent back to their journal, which the teacher can view and is saved also on the app for the students to view. Now I want to share some testimonials here. These came from Fossil Ridge High School under the direction of Lisa McVictor. She's in the Poudre School District in Fort Collins, Colorado. She has, quote unquote, said the students have taken ownership and been able to see their own progress and control their goals for the week by working hard and journaling as a result. So why go online or why go remotely? Students have a much better idea of what their vigorous physical activity actually feels like. That skill can transfer to their adult life. Many people will become distance learners easier, and they can use the app to track workouts that are required each week. So the sudden transition to distance learning just made it easier for the students by using the app and the zone heart rate monitor. And the journaling that takes place as a separate format is a very powerful tool that we plan to use even better as we move forward in changing what lessons we want to do and what lessons are most effective for our students. And now I'm going to give this over to Brandon Wolff, and he's going to talk to you about the hybrid portion of IHT.
Thanks, Lois. Lois did a fantastic job of explaining how IHT can help you in a remote world. So if you're in a position where you do not see your kids and they're completely remote, I think IHT is a good way to track and keep kids accountable for being physically active, and not only collect that physical data, but also find ways to track their physical literacy as well. What I'm going to talk about is hybrid, and then hybrid is a situation where you might be in where you are seeing your students parts of the week and the rest of your students are at home. And so you might have an every other day schedule or 2 days a week, 3 days a week type of schedule with your students. And I'm going to talk about how IHT can help you impact your students through that method or that mode of learning. And I think, when you're dealing with IHT with this hybrid and you do happen to have the heart rate monitors, you could hook them up with those monitors when they're with you and still get that data. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what to do when your students are not with you at school and they're at home. We do offer a assessment software, and this is not only assessment software, but also some online resources or an online curriculum that you can use with your students. The great thing about our online resources, they are PDFs that are writable or fillable. So you can give them to them in a Google Classroom type of learning management system, maybe through Infinite Campus or even Schoology. So whatever kind of system you're using for your learning management system, these PDFs can be used easily for students to be able to go right on and fill out. So let's talk a little bit also about assessments. And so we also have an assessment software that can collect not only fitness testing data, but really any type of data that you're looking to assess. And you can do that in a hybrid method because you could see your students ever so often throughout the week. Here is the IHT online hybrid resources that we offer here at IHT. These lessons or units are available for anyone that wants to purchase these. These are purchasable. You can purchase these resources. In these units, they are really plug and play. There is at least 4 to 5 lessons in each unit. Not only are they physical activity related, but they're also health related and SEL related lessons. A lot of these are thought provoking worksheets that allows kids to really dive deep into how they feel. And I'm just going to show you an example of Start the Heart, which is Unit 1. So you're going to get something like this that allows kids to, you can, again, like I said, plug and play these units. Start the Heart in blue are the amount of units that are there. So, or I'm sorry, amount of lessons that are in each unit. And as you scroll through, they're just worksheets that you can give your students to fill out. This one is about goals, setting short-term goals, long-term goals, and also gives them a chance to journal to see how they feel. Talks about the heart, and then they can then explain, so they gives them some documentation for them to read, and then they can go right in and really honestly write right on top of this and hand it in through your learning management system that you're using at your school. So there, like I said, there are 14 units. Some of these units also have videos that go right along with them that are physically active. So if you have kids at home that you want them to do not only these lessons at home, there's also some videos that the kids can go along with them that actually gets them up and moving that relates to these units. So a great way to use hybrid where you can assign these when they're at home, and then when they get you at school, you have that face-to-face. Allows you to maybe hook up the heart rate monitors if you have them. But again, this curriculum can be bought without using the heart rate monitors. So you could just use the curriculum. And not only do you get the curriculum, but you also do get the assessment software along with it as well. You know, the great thing about the hybrid is you can set some expectations with your students, and it's great to be able to see them at parts of the week. So you can engage in that 60 minutes of MVPA. And you can say, we're going to get some MVPA here at school, but I also want you to get some MVPA at home when they're at that hybrid model. When they're with you, you can also do some fitness assessments. When they're at home, you can set up some discussion boards to build that social, emotional, and mental health. And then also you can do assess skills and knowledge. You can do the skills at school and assess on those. And then you can also do the assessments of knowledge at home. By setting up some different types of, if they're types of Google Suites, which is what I'm going to go over next, or if there's something that you've created to share with your students to do at home. Measuring assessments can be implemented really to be in all modes, that remote, hybrid, and on-site. You know, students can complete any fitness assessments using the monitors or not using the monitors. Our assessment software, you do not need to have our heart rate monitors to use the assessment software, but it could go right along with it. You know, you can allow for different variations of cardiovascular endurance assessments at home and also when you're with them, when you have them there at school. We also have included some Google Suite resources. So if you're somebody that uses Google, I just want to quickly go over what you have here. This is free for you to use and plug and play within your curriculum or with your students. The first one is the Teen Health Survey. This survey allows students to fill out how they feel in different categories when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to stress, general wellness. It's a very long survey, but the great thing about using it in a Google setting is when you click responses, it will also give you the breakdown by graphs. So you could really see in this health survey where your holes are with your students. Where are they at with knowledge? And from there you can build on that knowledge or help them understand more in different areas that maybe they are low percentage on. If it comes to, are they eating breakfast in the morning, you could talk about why it is important to eat breakfast. If kids are drinking energy drinks and it's a high percentage, we could talk about how energy drinks affects the body. So having a wellness survey really allows you to use what's good for your students. You can take that information and say, now what I'm giving them is pertinent information because it's something that they really need to learn more about. That is the Teen Health Survey. The other one is a fitness journal. That allows you to see. This journal here allows kids to, at home, you might have them do some activities with the journal where they can see what they're doing the days they are not with you and put in the different types of exercises. The weekly training log is more for cardiovascular endurance, where they are tracking their cardio when they're gone and not with you. And you can have them track by duration, by what type of cardio they're doing. And so there's a Google form that allows kids to be able to fill that out. They can also put their intensity level, maybe how hard they're working with their cardio at home. So this is a Google form that you could use if it's something that interests you. And the other one I shared is at home warm up, which looks like this. And they're just running GIFs where you can share at home, or you can even do this at school and put this on the projector and do a game with these running GIFs and these different exercises. So we just wanted to share some resources that we've used as teachers that might be helpful for you in that hybrid model. Now I'm going to go ahead and let Bev talk a little bit about the on-site or face-to-face mode of learning.
Thank you, Brandon. And that's one thing that's really enjoyable about working here at IHT is I get to work with quality teachers like Lois and Brandon. They each bring what they've learned for years in the classroom, and Jen Olson and Ben Benson, they allow us as teachers to really put out there some curriculum resources. We are here to help you and support you and supplement what you're already doing. So in the beginning part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about curriculum and what's available and what that looks like. Then I'm going to go into reports. Everybody's going to get there. I used heart rate monitors for 15 years before I went to the university level. And when I went to the university level, one of the reasons I went there is to start with our 2B educators and the majors and really let them learn how to use the report to make themselves better. I had a fantastic administrator that taught me how to use data and really use data to drive my teaching and my understanding of what kids needed. And some of the reports for IHT is just outstanding, and it not only helps you as a teacher get to a higher level, but it'll help your students stay motivated. And, the whole goal is to get kids to understand that they can do and they can produce more than what they think they can. So I will go over the reports and talk about some of those things, as well as the other measures. We can create any type of measure that you want information on. The three of us can help you and teach you how to do that with our software, as well as the assessments and then the reports. So we'll start first with the curriculum. This is the secondary curriculum. It's just a small snapshot of it. If you look up on top, one of the first things that you can do as a teacher is download that heart rate zone chart, and you can laminate it. You can post it anywhere in the gym. We as a company do sell banners and those type of things. And then we have some writable PDFs. When it comes to our unit plans and our teacher lesson plans, they are UBD, they are stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So we're going to outline the national standards, and we're going to outline what these units or what these lesson plans are really focused on according to the national standards. And just recently, for you new people, there's 2 things on this page that I want to pay attention to that's new as of this year. If you go down on the right-hand side towards the bottom, left-hand side towards the bottom, it will say Personal Fitness Unit Plan, High School. There's about 6 different lessons in there that you can go in and you can make your own or adapt them to your curriculum already. Then Lois has an amazing personal fitness plan that goes deep into helping the kids really track what's going on and do a good job, especially if they're online and at home, where they can keep track of what they've done for you and then upload it. Next, in the middle column, I want to point out the HIT lessons. Unfortunately, some of us are hybrid, some of us are remote.
But when we all do get back in the building, there are some amazing HIT lessons here for not only the high school, but the middle school too. Then the next slide will show us those elementary curriculum resources. As we all know, Lois has done a terrific job during her teaching years. She has been awarded a lot. She's been on a lot of committees that has helped her mold and know and understand what the next generation of teachers need to know and understand. All of these lessons here at the elementary level have been designed by her. And if you look on the right-hand side towards the bottom, you'll notice that she has all the worksheets, everything that you need to know and have at your fingertips as a teacher to go out and teach these lessons. We want to highlight again, because this is really important, that you can download from our site the zones. We're at 3 levels. We have the low impact, and then we have moderate and vigorous. And one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this chart back up before I continue on is I'm going to start talking about the reports and talking about maybe how you can take this and adapt it into a higher level so that your kids understand the charts that are going to be emailed to them. And the ultimate goal, obviously, is once that email is home, that the students are able to know and understand what that chart represents at such a high level that they can explain it to their parents. I truly believe in teaching in progressions. So we start with this chart and we make sure that the kids know and understand when they're looking at their monitor on their wrist that they understand whether they're at a low impact, a moderate, or a vigorous level, and what that means as far as building up a strong body and a strong immune system. So the first chart that we're going to talk about is one of my favorites. One of the reasons that I was truly excited to switch from what I was using and go with IHT is because of this capability right here. This is a very important part of our software. And so back in the day when I first started with heart rate monitors, everything was kind of preset. And what I found was I, as a teacher, had to change my teaching and adapt how I was going to teach things so that kids were able to reach the goals with the monitors. And what I was in search for after I was using the E600s at that time, was I was really looking for a new type of monitor that I could have control over how much time kids needed to be at an MVPA level. So when you look at this chart, let's just look at floor hockey for an example. So I have floor hockey in here twice, floor hockey at 50%. So these are the days that the kids walk into my classroom. We do our warm up, build a better body. And then we get into some skill things. And then we also get into some teaching of the rules and what they need to know so that they could play the activity at MVPA level. So the first 2 or 3 days, I may pick the goal for those classes to be at 50%. Then when the kids have a good routine down, they understand everything that we're going to be doing, I'm going to talk less, they're moving more. So what I really liked about IHT is now I'm able to move from 50% to 70%, and my goal matches what the kids need to be doing for me as an educator. So I think in the beginning when I use this part of IHT, if you are a brand new user, the heart rate monitors, it takes you a few units to know and understand exactly how to set these goals. But what's great about IHT is you're going to get enough reports on how successful these goals are that you're going to know right away. I had a gentleman last year that started in September. And I checked back in with him in October, and he did such a fantastic job of really looking at the reports that he had already first-year user of monitors, first-year user of our system. was already setting goals spot on for his kids. So it's really important that you know where the reports are and you know how to use them. Okay, so now we'll go into some of those charts and what they look like. So this is what a chart looks like that's going to be sent home by email. And as a teacher, you decide when you want those emails to go and when the emails do not go. Do you want the emails to only go to students? My recommendation would be yes. For the first couple, 3 weeks, make sure your students know and understand how to read the email, how to read the charts, and that they demonstrate that deeper level of knowledge so that when parents start getting their emails, that they're able to say exactly what's going on. So for an example, every kid, by the time they leave school, should be able to look at this chart and say, that's a VO2 assessment. And this one happened to be with the heart, with the pacer. So let's talk about what this chart really represents. So on the left-hand side where you see in the blue, one of the first things that you want to do is ask the kids to lay down on the gym floor for a minute or two, and you want to get a minimum heart rate. That was a great indicator to their heart health. Then obviously you want to get them going on the pacer. As soon as they're done with the pacer, you want to have a cool down lane. And in that cool down lane, you want to instruct the students to walk back and forth until the monitor turns blue. Once that monitor turns blue, at that point, go return the monitor. So the only thing you want on this assessment day would be the minimum heart rate, evidence of where the student was when they dropped out of the pacer, and evidence that they understand how to cool down into the blue. Now, what you have to understand is if you're working with 5th, 6th, 7th grade students that don't know how to push themselves, some of those students are going to drop out right at the beginning of the red. This particular chart I send out to my customers all the time so they can use it as proactive teaching to let the kids know what their charts should look like when they're emailed home. So this is very important that school systems are really looking for, how do you know what the kids know and understand about what you're teaching? What's great about IHT is this goes directly to the kid so the kid can see their own performance rather than what the performance should look like. So now the next chart is an example of the email session going home, but there's a couple more things that I want to add to it. So on the left-hand side, like Lois had talked about earlier with the app, the workout session from the gym is the exact same look of the email. We'll have the teacher goal, which the teacher goal on this was 26 minutes of MVPA movement. So yellow, red added together is 26 minutes. And then the teacher anticipated 8 minutes of instructional time, cool down time, skill time, that organizational part that we have to have. And this is what I love about IHT. You get to pick what that's going to look like. Then the kids are going to be able to look at this and say, well, I was able to get 5 minutes of vigorous, 21 minutes of moderate, but I still made the goal. And now this is emailed out to the student. Once it's emailed to the student, one of the things that is important for everybody to know and understand is you can have exit questions. And this particular slide here is a great example of how we can take our kids outside and do sled riding. And if the kids are really active and doing what they could be doing and should be doing, you're going to see, just like a HIIT lesson, the interval training and the up and down and up and down. So this particular teacher asked the particular questions, and then the kids are able to click reply. When the kids click reply, whatever they type into the reply and they send that to you, you are going to be able to see how they answered those reflections or those student journals. So here's some live examples of questions that teachers are asking kids, and then the answers that the kids have given back, which I think is really important. As a teacher, this is terrible to say, but it's where we were at that time in our educational system. I used to circle up the kids and ask an exit question and then have kids respond. What I like about IHT is the kids can see what the goal was. They can see what they were able to accomplish in that lesson. They can think about your reflection question or your student journal question, and then they type it out without the pressure of verbalizing things in front of their peers. I think you'll get better responses from your students. So now the next slide, I'm going to show you what does that look like when you're working with your IHT working frame. So the way there's two different ways that you can get the student journal responses. And probably the most effective way is you go into what's called a session report. You run the session report for that day or that week, whatever timeline you want. And then it's actually going to go into a Excel sheet. And we all know Excel sheets, they're wonderful. Now I can sort in alphabetical order. I can sort it from different grade levels. I can have everything right there in alphabetical order so I can see how my students are responding. And if I need to, I can also assess or add a letter grade or points for the day or whatever you do to motivate and reward kids for good responses. This is another way that teachers in school systems have used our emails so that you can have kids take a screenshot. And then within this screenshot, have the kids label what were you doing during that part. And so one of my favorite questions to ask students is, did you reach today's goal? If you reach today's goal, tell me, what allowed you to be successful. Tell me if you didn't make today's goal, what do you need to do in the future in order to be successful and reach our goals in our world of physical education. So I think that feedback is really important. And I know there are teachers all over the US that I work with, that Brandon works with, that Lois works with, that utilize these charts to demonstrate that deeper level of knowledge of what's going on in the physical education classroom. The next slide is a great example of what we want as a company from IHT. We want to be able to help you, the teacher, reach your students, reach the parents, have the materials, have the data, the reports that you need for your school district to show the improvement of your students. So I had a first-time user reach out to me last week, and I think this story is really important. They were doing the PACER, and they were using IHT assessments, and the first day was a little bit of a struggle. And immediately she emailed me and said, well, that didn't go very well. And I know the kids could do better. They didn't quite understand things. I didn't understand things. And I said, you know what, keep all that data, because this is evidence of where you started as a very young teacher and where the kids are starting as fifth graders of knowing and understanding. This is where you're at. What you want to do by December is be able to do that assessment again and show the growth. So we don't have to be perfect going out the gate, but we need a starting point, and we take that starting point no matter where it's at. And it's my job, Lois's job, and Brandon's job to support you, to be here to answer your questions, and to help you reach whatever goals you have in mind for your district.
Thank you for joining our session. Once again, reach out to us as needed. Brandon, if you would like to have a last few words, that'd be great.
Thanks again for attending our session. I hope you were able to grab something out of this session that will help you through your time here as this pandemic is going through with the hybrid learning, remote learning, and also possibly on-site. So reach out to us if you have any more questions or you want to know a little bit more about our product or our curriculum. Please don't hesitate to reach out to one of us, and we would be glad to help you out.
It's been an absolute pleasure to present to all of you, and we do hope that we do hear from you with questions or concerns. We've got some awesome products here with IHT. It's the best around, and we'd love to work with you. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.